Hello Aqua friends, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to do a fast and fun forest of these tall trees. Just a very fast monochromatic painting. I'm starting off wet on wet. I wet my paper really well, actually in the sink first. Made sure it's good and wet so that I have a very soft background for my first layer. And this is pretty much a one-layer painting, but I painted for approximately 20 minutes to do this painting. So as the paper dried, I had some different effects and some more defined lines towards the end. So as you notice, everything is nice and soft, and I'm using shadow green. I'm in love with this color. It's just lightly green, but a very neutral type of color. Adding in some of the weeds that are sticking up through the snow. I'm bringing back some of my highlights by re-wetting some of those areas and lifting the paint. Now, it was about at this time I noticed this paper defect going on. I was quite upset about it, but I decided to continue to go ahead with this tutorial nonetheless, because sometimes that happens, and for the most part I really enjoyed this painting process. I am using arches, and this is, I think, the second or third time this has happened. I don't know what is going on with the sizing issues that they're having, but this is obviously a sizing mistake, some areas that they might have missed when they sized the paper. And by sizing, I mean they use a gelatin substance to make the paper kind of water resistant. If it wasn't treated with anything, then the paper would just suck up water like a paper towel. So all watercolor paper is treated to some extent with some sort of medium that will help retain the water and keep the paper moist in order to be able to have time to paint on. So yeah, not happy with that streak mark, but this was such a cute and fast project for my Fast and Fun Fridays. I decided to still keep the painting and, you know, show you that sometimes these things happen, and I did try to kind of cover up those streaks by flicking some opaque white watercolor paint at the end of it. And it doesn't look horrible, and I suppose maybe it might even look like, you know, a ray of some light coming through the trees. If I hadn't pointed it out, you know, maybe somebody might not have even really noticed it that much, but now that I pointed it out, that's probably all you can see, right? So notice how I'm holding my brush here to get the toothiness of the paper and to get a more kind of realistic texture. All these scrub brushes on the ground, I hold it at an angle, and it does pick up some of the toothiness, and it kind of looks just very organic, and I really like the look of doing these small little grasses this way. And then of course I did also take a script liner brush to make some bigger little clumps of grass. So stepping back, you kind of look and see, okay, where do I want to add some more darkness? Where do I want to add, you know, my pop of color, a little bit more of that sap green, maybe it's a brighter green. And where I want some darker trees, I'm going back over that area with shadow green. So what I'm doing here, after seeing that I still couldn't stand those marks, it's my last ditch effort here to try to cover it up a little bit. I'm drying the paper a bit. So you don't want to put your white splatters on the paper when it's still wet. It'll absorb too much. So paper's pretty dry now. Got some splatters going on, and there's the final project. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you next week.